It's not.
Did you hear feeling wrong?
Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Huckleberry Brews. This week we're going to be talking about how to recover from cancer. So, Dr. Cornell, we're going to kick it off with you, and then we'll move over to Bill with some questions. What's the process of recovering from cancer? Stage 4, stage 3, throughout life.
Basically, I mean, the medical part of it is you go through chemotherapy and radiation therapy. And we know for a fact that cancer can't survive in a body that is oxygenated really well. One of the things that starts cancer is lack of oxygen, and that's why they have people on IVs of H2O2 and some of the other drugs that they put them on. They're trying to get more oxygen in their body to kill cancer.
So more specifically, can you explain the process people are going through after they start going into remission? Like what does your body do? You know, how does it start then? You know, after you go through chemo, after all that stuff, you know, what type of state is your body in?
Body's weakened, very poor health, lowered resistance. You can come down with anything because you've lowered the body's resistance. So to strengthen it and power it back up, you need vitamins, minerals, you need things that the body needs to build good blood cells to get nutrients out to all the cells of the body. And oxygen, lots of oxygen.
Awesome. So, Bill, can you explain a little bit about the process of recovering after you went through your whole ordeal? You know, we talked about what happened when you got cancer last week, but we didn't talk about too much about what happened after you got cancer and after you started talking to doctors and after they figured out how to fix it. Or you figured
Well, I think John's in the right track. Your immune system has been destroyed. So, not just your immune system, but your whole body. Your body has been racked with poison. And the doctors did everything they could to save your life by eradicating the cancer. Those are extreme measures. But they're also extremely hard on your whole body. Your immune system has been destroyed. Many people have lost lymph nodes. So you have to be on an aggressive program to get your body back to where it can do what it was doing before. We know that the immune system needs oxygen to operate at its optimal level. So by filling your body with oxygen, you're helping rebuild the immune system. But diet, supplements, everything that John just talked about is extremely important. Exercise. You have to build back everything that you've lost. So,
okay, so what about let's talk a little bit about you after when you were coming. You know, this whole segment's dedicated to people who have had cancer. You know, the last weekend, this weekend, to people who have been able to beat cancer. But some people can't. Some people can't. Some people, get as good as they're going to get. But sometimes the cancer comes back, and that's what it's dedicated to. You know, to you got rid of your cancer. You were able to, and there's a whole different process through chemo, through all that stuff. I mean, you probably felt like crap half the time after all that. You know?
yeah, you change your life drastically. And, smokers quit smoking. People that drink a lot of alcohol all of a sudden don't drink. People that used to inhale a 6 pack of sodas a day, now drink water only. It's just being conscious. Your, your, your whole life you had all these bad habits. We're vulnerable. We're young. You know, we once you've been diagnosed with cancer, you realize how atrociously bad your diet and lifestyle was. So it's almost not a surprise that you end up with cancer. So after you've had cancer, you don't drink sodas anymore. You drink water. You don't smoke anymore. You might have a glass of wine every now and then, but you try and be as proactive about your health as you can. The other thing is, a lot of people suffer from radiation damage. The hyperbaric chamber, well, let me back up. So, after I did chemo and radiation to get rid of my tumor, I quit getting in the hyperbaric chamber. 2 years later, all my top teeth start falling out. I go to my old surgeon, and he said the first thing I have to have you do is get into a hyperbaric chamber. Took 40 sessions. He said I need to rebuild the bones and rebuild the tissue so I have something to put my implants into. He said the hyperbaric chamber is the only treatment that will reverse radiation damage. Well,
That's huge.
Oh, it's huge. After I got done with my chemo and radiation, I quit getting in the chamber. My tumor was gone. Hey, I'm, I'm a fat cat. I'm ready to go. And then 2 years later, all my top teeth stopped falling out. So I said, well, how come my radiologist never told me about that? He said, well, he probably didn't know. And so, I mean, when he told me I had to get 40 sessions in the chamber, I said, no problem. He says, no problem. I said, well, I have that. And he said, do you have a hyperbaric chamber? I said, yeah. He says, in your home? I said, yeah. He said, why haven't you been using it? I said, I didn't know. Why didn't my radiologist tell me?
So that's kind of a problem now. Just, so a lot of doctors just don't know.
But they're finding out. More and more, we're having doctors actually send patients to us that have cancer, not just for radiation damage, but even while they're on chemo, because it enhances the benefit of the chemo. If you're going to do hyperbaric therapy while you're doing chemo, you want to make sure your doctor's aware of it and approves of it. But more and more, we're finding doctors say that the hyperbaric chamber is part of their protocol. I just read a thing the other day. I wish I had brought it in front of me, but one of the doctors says this is one of my standard protocols for all cancer patients is the hyperbaric chamber. And more doctors are endorsing that.
That's fantastic. So moving forward, it's one of the things. That's what we're here for. We're here to help spread the word on hyperbaric therapy and what it can do, what it has done, and that was
No, you're right. You're right.
That was the whole reason we formed the hyperbaric groups, just so we can get the word out.
We're here to educate and to make people aware of what the chamber can do and what it can't do. Once the people are educated, then now at least they know. And it's up to them how they want to use that knowledge. But that's our mission, is to educate the people.
Okay, so Dr. Cornell, with the few things we've been talking about here, we kind of talked a little bit about preventative the other day. Well, how do you, when you're in remission, yeah, you can hop in a hyperbaric chamber. How do you stay? Aside from changing your life and changing what you eat, and the hyperbaric chamber and all that. Um, what's the life of you had cancer, right? So what's the life of after you finally got the remission, the tumor is gone? What's life like?
Life was like taking a lot more vitamins, um, taking a lot of vitamin C, drinking a lot of water, and then I found out about Kangen water, so I drink that all day long. That all of us do here in the clinic, and just taking better care of your body. You know, healthy things, getting more exercise. I ski patrol on the Nordic side of the White Pass in the wintertime, and that's a lot of exercise. I do a lot of work up at the cabin up there, cutting firewood, splitting firewood, and so forth. And when I feel my heart pumping hard, I think then I'm probably doing some good physical activity. So I try to keep that up. But your lifestyle changes. Nobody, it's the worst fear of any cancer patient. I can say that for myself, and I think I could say it for Bill too. The worst fear of any cancer patient is when it returns, and it does return on a lot of people. They just don't do the things that actively fight the cancer coming back. They need to change that lifestyle slightly and get good rest. Don't stay out late at night drinking and run your immune system down. So get a healthy immune system, get some good function back in your body as far as physical function is, and do the things that you need to do to stay healthy. I know last time I saw an oncologist, he was real happy that I still have weight on my body because I lost so much weight going through the cancer treatment. In fact, we talked about that. The cells in the body, cancer cells are a little bit larger than other cells, and they compete for that basophilic acid, which is the food source for all cells in the body. And because they're bigger, they eat more, and the other cells eat less and they die off. And that's why we look smaller and thinner and lose a lot of weight during cancer. So the main thing is to keep the body healthy, keep the cells healthy in the body, and do all the things that you need to do. Oxygen being one, good water being another one, lots of vitamins, minerals, good exercise. Do all the things that you need to do to keep your immune system up. So if cancer ever does return, then it can fight it off. It's like our immune system in our body fights off colds, flus, and all the other things that we come down with. There's certain things that it can't fight because it's just so powerful. You need a real strong immune system. And then we need to get outside care, which was like the radiation and the chemotherapy that Bill and I both went through um, during our cancer.
Okay. So, Bill, would you say that the fear of getting cancer again was a real fear?
I spend an hour a day in the hyperbaric chamber because I have that fear. And I would spend an hour a day in the hyperbaric chamber for the rest of my life because I have that fear. Um, John's absolutely right. You know, once you, it's kind of like a stroke. Once you've had a stroke, your biggest fear is the next one. So, if the theory is correct that cancer can't survive in an oxygen-rich environment, and I spend an hour a day in the hyperbaric chamber to keep my cells filled with oxygen, it would severely reduce my risk of ever having to deal with cancer again. Another part that we haven't really got into though, when it, when it comes to surviving cancer, is the mental side of it. I think attitude in the battle against cancer is 50%. I think that having a loving and caring and supporting family is important. Once you've survived cancer, I also believe in the power of prayer immensely. more than any time in your life to become a partner with God in your battle against cancer. But it's important after you survive cancer to understand what happened. And every day you're thankful when your feet hit the floor. And that you live a positive life, that you have humor in your life, and that you have people around you that you love and care about. Being in a depressing situation is not going to help your health. So watch comedy, you know, read funny books, be around people that make you laugh. Laugh every day. So you can tell the difference in a person that laughs every day versus a person that is stuck in a situation they don't like and they're smiling every day. Whole different person. Same world, same choices, but some people choose to be positive and some people choose to be negative. I think the people that survive cancer are positive thinkers. So I think that the mental part of surviving cancer is as important as any chemo or radiation or anything else. It's all part of it.
That's huge, and that's something we haven't talked about. Even last week we didn't talk about the mental side of it, and that's huge. Dr. Cornell, what are your thoughts on the mental side of it?
Very important. The mental status. Some people always joke with me about when they ask me how I'm feeling. And I always say fantastic and amazing, and they always smile. And I said, if you keep telling yourself positive things will come out. Tell yourself negative things come out. What goes in comes out. So it's very positive. I know I've had a lot of people before I ever went through cancer and knew very little about it. I read a lot, and I would tell people that I knew that had cancer, keep positive. It's very important to keep laughter and everything else in your life that's happy. In fact, there's a book that was written by a guy that went through cancer, laughing myself back to health or something like that. I don't remember the name of the book, but that's how he did it, was through laughter. And it stimulates certain hormones in your body and certain chemical reductions of bad things that are going on in your body and positive chemical reactions for positive things. So laughing is good for you and reading positive things.
Okay. So, Bill, tell us a little bit about hyperbaric therapy and the businesses, the company, the websites, all that stuff.
Well, when I was diagnosed with cancer, it was like getting hit over the head with a sledgehammer. I loved life. I loved living. So after surviving cancer, I called Dr. Cornell and said, would you be interested in offering hyperbaric therapy to your patients? God has a plan. And I look back today at the fact that I was diagnosed with cancer as a blessing because today we're able to help so many people. So today, H3 therapy, we have a chain of hyperbaric plants, Dr. Cornell does, um, and uh, we're giving back people lives that they thought they had lost forever. So we have a small chain of hyperbaric plants, and we sell chambers all over the world. And every month, more and more people are hearing what hyperbaric therapy can do for them. The challenge is it's not a quick fix. So for the majority of people, it's more cost effective to find a chamber, to buy a chamber and put it in their home than it is to come in for treatment on an extended basis. But the bigger issue, or just as important, is the fact that frequency is an issue. So being able to take 2 to 3 hours out of the day every single day to come in for treatment, most people can't make that commitment. And it just makes a lot more sense to find a way to put a chamber in your home to where you can get in it on your time. So that's what we do. We have a chain of clinics, we treat people, and we also sell chambers all over the world.
Okay, and now with the chambers, and the clinics and all that stuff, where are they?
Our clinics are predominantly in the northwest Seattle area, um, and we do have some satellite offices around Denver, Canada, a couple places like that.
Okay. So if they wanted to get a hold of us,
Just having my number is 253 that phone's with me 24/7. Call me at any time.
awesome. And my number is 206-794-8229. You can call me anytime. I'd be more than willing to answer your questions or direct you to the person who can answer your questions. Dr. Cornell, go ahead and give them your number out there, and then I got some questions to ask you.
Area code 253-549-1271.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the clinics. We talked about remission of cancer. We talked about a little bit the mental side of cancer. What do you think? Being both of you, and feel free to chime in if you want. What do you guys think, or Dr. Cornell, would be the biggest thing aside from what we've talked about that would help our viewers, or the potential patients, or just help give them the right knowledge they need to make the right decisions moving forward. As far as for recovery, and
more and more medical doctors are now suggesting hyperbaric chambers, and more people are referring them into our clinics. We have one in Tacoma, we have one here at Gig Harbor, we have one up in Bremerton, and not Bremerton, Olympia, and one in Wenatchee. And so a lot of doctors are referring in patients for hyperbaric treatment, and they're learning a lot more about it. We knew very little about oxygen in your system, other than you need to breathe it and how important it is. We were talking, I think last week, saying something, you could go a few days without food, you could go a couple days, 2-3 days without water, but you can't stop breathing for 2 or 3 days. So it shows you that that's very important, oxygen in our body, getting to all the cells and keeping everything healthy. So those are some of the things, besides the fact that more and more MDs are referring patients in for hyperbaric treatment. And Bill was saying we sell chambers all over the world. We sold two to two different medical doctors in Australia. Neither one of them knew each other, but they each ordered a hyperbaric chamber for down there for treating their patients. So there's more doctors learning about hyperbaric treatment. There was one in Malaysia about a month later that ordered, another medical doctor that ordered a hyperbaric chamber for his patients down there. So I think a lot of people are learning about it. And the most important thing is oxygen is important. And you can't breathe underwater. You can't breathe without oxygen. You can't, I mean, carbon monoxide poisoning, we've known about that for a long time, lack of oxygen there. They know that when they're climbing mountains like Mount Everest, they need oxygen. Some people can go to the top that have a lot of oxygen in their system because they have uh, programmed their system by going to higher altitudes and spending some time there to build up the hemoglobin in their body, which carries more oxygen, four more oxygen cells than we would normally carry with just the red blood cell. So every time the hemoglobin attaches to a red blood cell, it carries more oxygen. The body needs oxygen. It knows it needs oxygen. That's why it formed this way of getting more oxygen into it by putting hemoglobin cells in with the red blood cells. And the treatment for conditions, heart attacks, strokes, and everything else, one of the first things they do when they put you in a Medic 1 or an ambulance to take you to the hospital is they put oxygen on you. So they know the importance of oxygen. So it's just a matter of keeping your body healthy, keeping it full of the vitamins and minerals that we need, keep a lot of oxygen in our body, and stay away from the bad things that are clogging our arteries, which slow the oxygen content to getting to the cells. And cells live with oxygen, they die without it.
Okay. So, Bill, let me hear your thoughts on that.
Well, here's the thing, and John's absolutely spot on. But here's the thing. In 1940, 1 in 30,000 people got cancer. Today, it's a statistical fact. 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women will acquire cancer in their lifetime. So we need to focus on being proactive instead of reactive. The problem is when we're young, we just don't care. We're invulnerable. We drink, we have a terrible diet, and habits are formed that are hard to break. But when you get to be my age, the most important thing I have is my health, or don't have. So the problem is that what's the difference between the 1940s and today? The air and what we eat is just filled with toxins. We have such an acidic body because of the foods we eat and the sodas we drink. Back in the 1940s, we ate off the farm, fresh, raw vegetables. Today, your body is being filled with toxins from the food you eat and the air you breathe. So it's important that you find a way to detoxify your body on a consistent basis. That's one of the things the hyperbaric chamber is doing. It's forcing oxygen into your cells and pushing the impurities out. The other thing you can do is change your water. If you want to feel sick, study the water you're drinking today. I would highly recommend people to look at Kangen water. I'm not going to sit here and overly promote it. We require our patients to drink it. We can show you slides of people that have been on a Kangen water protocol that are cancer-free today. The thing is if our pH was at 7, we wouldn't have acquired cancer in the first place. But 90% of us have in the stage body. It's almost impossible in today's world to have an alkaline body. It's not impossible, but almost. You have to be religious. And most of us don't have that kind of discipline. So finding a way to detoxify your body and get those toxins out of your body, I think is important in regards to just being proactive instead of reactive.
So, what are some ways? You talked a little bit about how they can be proactive. Is there anything else you recommend?
Change your water, be in a agriculture chamber, change your diet, eat more raw, take the right supplements. Um, the thing is I've watched this Kangen demonstration a lot of times, and the guy said, if you don't are not drinking the right water, if you don't change your water, taking your supplements with the water you're drinking is like taking them and throwing them into a dirty pot. So, and that really hits home. But you know, there's it's almost kind of like when I was diagnosed with cancer. I got advice from everybody. Somebody said try this. Somebody said try that. You name it, I did it. You know what? I think it all helped a little bit. It's the same thing with being proactive, just being conscious about being proactive. Walking stairs instead of riding the elevator. All of that helps a little bit.
So, just the little things.
Yeah, just being conscious.
Okay. So, Dr. Cornell, when being a chiropractor and all the things you've studied and done in your life, what do you think, um, you know, to add to what Bill was saying about the little things that people can do? I mean, you've seen a lot. You've adjusted people. You've been in your own plane accidents. What, uh, what can you add? I mean, it's a little bit different today because we're talking about the recovery of that and how to stay in that position in your life so that you don't have to worry about the fear and you can let that fear go. If you do it right, you can let that fear go and not worry about when I get cancer again. But who knows? Maybe, maybe not. If you keep your your structures and everything right with the food you're eating, your diet, the exercising, then what would you say, to add to what Bill was saying about the little things? It's important.
Diet and exercise is very important, um, and being proactive about something. Some people, when they feel a little ill, they wait for it to get worse before they do anything about it. Be checked out right away and make sure that these little symptoms that you feel, like hoarseness in their throat or maybe a lymph gland that's bulging out, like Bill and I both had in the side of our neck. That was one of our warning signals that we had cancer. Cancer was already growing in the body. By the time it spread out to the lymph gland and we noticed it, it was already there for quite a while growing in our throat. So the things that we do that irritate that tissue causes the cancer to grow. Things that don't irritate the tissue allow live cells to grow, and cancer cells won't grow. If you take a piece of tar and you rubbed it on your hand day in and day out, 20 or 30 times, eventually you cause cancer. And it's not that the tar did it, it was the irritation to the tissue. Then all of a sudden the abnormal tissue starts forming, and before you know it, you form a cancer cells start growing. Choreoblastic tissue is what they call it. And I think we talked about that last week. Choreoblastic tissue is a tissue cell that grows and it has no purpose to differentiate into tooth, bone, um, any other type tissue. It just has a growth spurt, and its purpose is to grow and multiply, and that's what cancer cells do. There's a lot of research on cancer. Nobody has all the answers. People are always saying to me, Oh, they probably figured out a way to cure cancer by now, but it's such a multi-billion-dollar uh, thing that's going on in the world treating cancer that they just won't ever cure it because it keeps a lot of people in a job, basically fighting it. So I don't know how true that is. I think if some guy did come down with the cure for cancer, he would certainly get a Peace Prize for that and
And
become a
share the
very
knowledge.
wealthy and share the knowledge
Yeah.
with everybody else. It would certainly be popular. So it's hard to say. Uh, Cancer affects a lot of people. It's affected people in my family and everybody else's family out there had some relationship with cancer, whether it be a relative that's close or a distant relative. It's just throughout our society. Our air is poor. What we breathe in is full of toxins. What we eat is full of toxins. And all the different things that we do to toxify our body. You toxify a body, it does the same thing as rubbing that piece of tar on the skin. It's going to irritate the tissue. Keep toxifying the body finally gives up and it starts building chorioblastic tissue or cancer cell tissue.
So let's go ahead and we're getting closer to the end of our segment here. We're gonna get to our questions here. Trish was asking. So now anybody can answer this question too. So whoever wants to hop in and answer this. So Trish asked, I had breast cancer. She had gone through breast cancer. She multiple chemo treatments, and question was, will the chamber help me? Will it help after it's all gone? Her biggest fear is getting cancer again. Now I know we kind of talked about it, but um, does anybody want to answer that for Trish about how the chamber can help her?
Well, number one, by getting in the chamber on a consistent basis, it can severely reduce your risk and fear of having another bout with it. But it's also improving your immune system. It's helping build your body back up. Um, it's allowing you to maintain a healthier and more active lifestyle. So I think there's a lot. Once you've had a serious health issue, you want to do everything you can to not have to repeat that. So um, the chamber, we can go through the basics of what the chamber does, but it's increasing the production and circulation of your stem cells, it's improving your immune system, it's detoxifying your body, it's improving your circulation. I mean, we can go on and on and on about what the chamber can do. So if you learned about hyperbaric therapy when you had cancer and were using it in your battle, I don't know why you'd ever stop. Once you truly find out what the hyperbaric chamber can do, I don't know why you'd ever stop.
Okay, so our next question here. Now, Marty was asking. This is an interesting question. He was saying, he had colon cancer, and he was wondering if, basically, he said if I had colon cancer, and he had heard us talking about Kangen water and colon cancer, and we were talking about I can't remember which episode it was. Is it the last episode or a couple before that? But he was asking that. He said, "Will the chamber do the exact same thing that Kangen water had done based on results, on those things for colon cancer?" Is that something that?
Technically, um, I think they work hand in hand. I think the hyperbaric chamber magnifies the benefits of Kangen water, and I think Kangen water magnifies the benefits of the hyperbaric chamber. I think you should do them both. the doctor that invented endoscopy, and he's the chief surgeon at Bethesda Medical Center, puts all of his colon cancer patients on a special diet and Kangen water. And he's got slide after slide after slide of cancerous colon, and after 3 months being on the diet and Kangen water being cancer free.
Just water only.
Yep.
So,
and special diet.
So if you coupled that with hyperbaric treatment, that would really enhance, that could potentially really enhance the benefits. So, well, we're coming down to the end of our show here today. So let's go ahead and recap a couple things. We talked a little bit about the mental battle of cancer and how important it is to stay positive no matter what. We've talked a little bit about recovery, different ways after you've recovered to stay recovered. We've talked about, we had a few questions. We talked about your experiences and John's experiences. And, now let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned earlier, we have a chain of clinics. Again, we're here to help and spread knowledge, but we are also biased because we've seen what hyperbaric therapy can do for not only me, Bill, John. We've all benefited from it, and so have our patients. But so moving forward with Alaska Hyperbarics is our website, and there's multiple deals on there. You can go check it out if it's something that you're interested in. If you think that it might be too much to drive into a clinic every single day and dedicate that time, but you really want to get the benefits of it, give us a call, and we'll see if we can, guide you in the right direction of what will work best for you. So again, let's get your number there, Bill. And
call me at 253-363-0500. I have information I can email you. We have a nice PowerPoint on hyperbaric therapy and cancer. So get hold of us and we'll get the information to you.
Perfect. And our website is alaskahyperbarics.com. And so it's alaskahyperbarics.com. We also have another website, our clinic website, which is h3oxygentherapy.com. And we will, my number is 206-794-8229. Feel free to call that anytime, and I'd love to talk to you and give you information, that I have. So John, how can they get a hold of you one last time?
253-549-1271.
Perfect. And
that's the number of my clinic, and it's also the number of H3.
Fantastic. So next week we're going to release tomorrow. We have a special webinar we're going to do next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow it'll be on our Facebook, and we'll send out newsletters about our next webinar. So thanks, guys, and we'll talk to you later.
There's one thing I do want to mention before we cut off, and that is that people have been calling because they get Groupon coupons for hyperbaric treatment. And we have a special going on. One time you could do this, but it's a special going on. 3 treatments for $100. And you could call the number 253-549-1270. Mine is 71, but 70. Call that number and you can set up treatments at any one of the clinics that we have, Wenatchee, Olympia, Gig Harbor, or Tacoma right now, and set up an
awesome
treatment schedule for that.
Well, with that being said, what we'll do is we'll add that onto our, we'll have that on our Facebook.
Oh, perfect.
You'll have an ad for us tomorrow, so we'll put that up on our Facebook, and if you guys want to take advantage of that, just give us a call or send us, an email, and we'll get everything taken care of for you. All right, guys, see you later.